Hello everyone, welcome back to my top 5 picks from 2014's 7DRL challenge. They're all roguelikes, of course, since that's what the challenge is about. And so far we've had Trauma RL by Flend and Data Queen by Darren Gray. Today we're looking at Here Be Dragons, which you may see has some almost illegible text scrawled across its title. That's basically linking to the 7DRL version. The version we're looking at here is the updated version released after the 7-day time frame of the contest. It's mostly the same, but there are a few tweaks and adjustments here and there, and sound has been added, which frankly I could have done without. The sound effects are fine, but the music grates after a couple of minutes. But that's beside the point. So, unlike many of the 7DRL releases, this is actually browser-based. So I will link to it below, as always, and you can just play it in your browser. I don't think there's a downloadable version, but you never know. Sometimes that is the thing. Like many browser-based roguelikes, it's also mouse-controlled, which I don't usually like. In fact, I generally don't like browser-based roguelikes, and I don't like mouse-controlled roguelikes. So the fact that Here Be Dragons manages to be one of my top 5 from this year's 7DRL contest should say something about how well it's done. So, all that waffle aside, let's just jump into a new game, shall we? So, as you can see, it's graphical, and you will see just how graphical it is in a minute. For the time being, we don't get to choose our characters, but these are the available character classes. We start off with 4. You have a party of 4 at all times, but you do soon start to gain additional characters who you can swap in and out of your party. And this is basically the core mechanic of the game. If we hover over the characters we have, you'll see Monk has 3 hearts, 2 swords, and a dodge ability. Alchemist has 3 hearts, 2 swords, and immunity to fire attacks. The Pirate has only 2 hearts, but also 2 swords, that sort of ball thing, and +1 to vision range. And the Huntress has 2 hearts, 2 swords, 1 ball thing, vision +1, and campfire. So we might want to trade out the Pirate when we get a chance, because he's basically just an inferior version of the Huntress. They're the same, except the Huntress also has the campfire ability. And this is where the game introduces basically its mechanic. Like a lot of successful 7DRLs, it has 1 or 2 core mechanics that are the linchpin of the whole thing. In this case, it's the party system. The composition of your party gives you different amounts of health, different amounts of attacking power, and crucially different special abilities. And I'll explain the relevance of 1 or 2 of the abilities as we go along. Many of them are obvious, but Vision +1 and Campfire, for instance, could do with a bit of explanation. I mentioned that all of these characters come with hearts, swords, and a ball thing. The reason I say ball thing is I don't know what that is. Hearts are health, swords are attack power. I don't know what the ball thing is, though. And as far as I know, there isn't a manual or anything, so you kind of have to work this stuff out for yourself. Anyway, as you can see, you could re-roll the party here, but we're just going to take this one. Normally I would probably re-roll because the Pirate and the Huntress are somewhat duplicating each other, but we'll just proceed here by clicking Proceed. So, we've entered a wooded area. Is the music starting to annoy you yet? It's starting to annoy me. So, as I said, graphical. As you can see, the graphical style is actually quite nice. It's fairly minimalist, but I do like this sort of silhouette on a wooded background arrangement. And you can see your party composition on the right here, along with their special abilities. Dodge, fire immunity, vision +1, and so on. And if you click on them, it actually tells you what they do. So that one's a passive skill that increases your chance of dodging an enemy's attack, as you might imagine. The Campfire skill, though, restores 1 HP before you enter a new region. So that's one of the ones I mentioned that needs a bit of explanation. And basically, you move... I don't think it's literally from floor to floor in the roguelike tradition, but it works basically that way. You find the exit from the area and you move on to a new area. So with the campfire ability, you restore one of your hearts before you move on. Actually, I don't know if 1 heart equals 1 HP, but the point is you heal slightly. Vision +1 increases your view distance by 1, which you might have expected, but the reason I mentioned this is one that needs explanation is because you can only click to move on areas that either you've already visited or you can see. So having a longer vision range not only helps you see things that are further away, it also enables you to move further, which makes control and movement a little smoother. So we've got enemies appearing here, basically just charge towards them and start smacking. That one was easy. So normally you would only be able to move 2 spaces with standard vision, like that, or to anywhere that you've already been, so you could move all the way back over here with 1 click. But with Vision +1 we can move to 3 clicks away, 3 spaces away with 1 click, like that. Now, one absolutely crucial thing to point out for anyone who's going to play this is you have to click and drag the map. When I first played Here Be Dragons, I got really frustrated because I was trying to go up to the top. I don't know if you can see my mouse pointer. Bandicam doesn't usually record my mouse pointer, so if not, you'll just have to assume, take my word for it that I'm pointing at things with my mouse. Up where it says Stage 1, and you can see that sort of beige-coloured faint hint of text talking about the 7DRL version. I was trying to click up at the top there to move, and I was going, no! I can't move because it turns to a text carrot up there. And I was thinking, no, I need to move up there, that's where the exit is, but I couldn't. And it's because, as I said, the game doesn't really explain anything. There isn't a manual that I know of, so you have to figure out that you click and drag to move around the map. It is actually bigger than this square, you can see. So, let's explore. And we're basically looking for 2 things. One, in the roguelike tradition, is the exit. The other is a campfire. And the reason we're looking for a campfire is when you find one of those, you often, in fact, in my experience, always, I don't know if it is 100% always, but it seems to be, whenever you use a campfire, you encounter a new character who you can then add to your party. See, here's a campfire. And some character classes have the ability to sense the presence of a campfire, so you'll start off able to see one somewhere on the map. So even if it's out in the beige fog of war area, you would be able to see the campfire icon sitting out there. Similarly, some character classes like the wizard can sense the exit, so you are able to see that wherever it is. So let's sit at the campfire here, like so. A wandering crusader has expressed the willingness to join your cause. You can't take the new character into... I accidentally moved there, and there's the exit. You can't take the new character in mid-level, but here, at the character select between levels, you can swap out one of your existing characters for the new character. So here you can see we've selected the new character, and at the bottom it says remove 1 hero, because you can have a maximum of 4. In fact, I think you must have 4. So you can see the Crusade has 2 health, 2 attack, and 3 circle things. Again, I don't know what the circle things are, but let's trade out the Pirate, because he just duplicates the Huntress, and trade in the Crusader. And we will proceed into the next level. So again, we're looking for a campfire to gain a new character, because the more characters you have, the better your chances are of succeeding. And we're looking for the exit. Now, I don't know if you actually lose characters. If, say you lose 2 hearts worth of health during the level, I don't know if one of your 2 heart characters will actually die and not be usable again. I haven't noticed that happening, but I do tend to die pretty quickly. So it could just be that I haven't survived in general long enough to experience that. I don't claim to be an expert in any of the roguelikes that I'm recommending here. I'm just highlighting them for those of you who might be interested. Wandering Barbarian has expressed a willingness to join our cause. That's good. Although I would like to pick up the Wizard, because it's always nice to know where the exit is. Okay, let's smack this thing down. We're doing pretty well with combat, actually. In some of my attempts at this game, I have quite a rough time with combat. And there's the exit. Now, you can make a judgment call about whether you want to continue exploring. Some levels do have more than one campfire, I believe. Judging by the way the campfire detection ability, whatever it's called, I forget. Judging by that, the way it's worded in its description, it says that that particular ability allows you to detect one of the campfires in each level, which implies that there's more than one, although I don't think I've ever actually found more than one. Okay, so the Barbarian has 2 hearts, 3 swords, and Boreal Vision, whatever that is. We'll look at that in a second. I'm going to trade out the Crusader and trade in the Barbarian, who has none of those ball things, just hearts and swords. But again, I don't know what the ball things do, so I'll just take him. And let's look up Boreal Vision. Increases view distance in boreal forest regions by 2. So we actually have a much larger vision range, even larger, when we're in certain level types. So I'm not going to drag this out for much longer. I just wanted to give you this one as the third of my top 5 2014 7-day roguelike picks. It's a mouse-controlled browser roguelike called Here Be Dragons, and aside from the slightly grating music, it's actually worth a play. It plays very smoothly, presentation is good, particularly for a roguelike, and even more particularly for a 7-day roguelike. I haven't noticed any bugs or glitches. It's not action-packed, it feels quite sedate, but the party mechanic works well. It is still challenging in a roguelike sort of fashion, and the fact that you can tweak the abilities of your party between levels by swapping characters in and out is a nice touch, and you always have to make that value judgment in every level about whether you want to push on and find a campfire, or perhaps more than one campfire, or whether you want to just make a run for the exit. So, this has been Here Be Dragons. Let's just have a look at the Jester. Ambush. So that's an active skill, before we go. You don't see many of these. The Priest has a healing skill that lets you do this, and the Jester, or Joker, or whatever he's called, Joker, has an active skill, Ambush. I'm not sure how that works, but that's a thing also. Ah, there we go. Empathy reveals the location of a camp. So, if we have a look around, there, you can see the campfire off in the distance, so we can know where that is to head for it and gain ourselves a new character. So anyway, this has been Here Be Dragons. Thanks for watching, as always, and rejoin me next time when I will move on to the 4th of my picks for the top 5 7-day roguelikes of 2014. Until then, bye for now.